My name is Bruno. I was in the Army, and I enlisted in April 21st, 1980, prior to my graduation in Napa Valley High School. And after I graduated, about 2 days later, ended up in boot camp. Boot camp was in Fort Dix, New Jersey. I remember arriving there and before you get off the bus, they start yelling at you to get off the bus. You got 5 seconds. The whole story, they give you 5 seconds to get off. 3 minutes are already gone. 3 seconds already gone. So it's the drag out, kick out, get out type of story that everybody sees on TV. That stuff really happens. So they call it Hell Week. Other stuff like meeting all these veterans that were in Vietnam War, that was an incredible, especially when they show up with all the medals and sashes, and just an incredible amount of respect is given to these guys, and then they just beat you to hell. So, but they build you, they break you down, they build you up, and then they move you on to the next phase of training. I went to Fort McClellan, Alabama, where I became a military police officer. From there, of course, it was hot, humid, miserable, out in the middle of nowhere, and the same amount of people, the same esprit de corps, same type of people were training us. So a lot of subject matter experts, experienced veterans were there to train us, so it was great. After that, I stayed there at Fort McClellan, Alabama, for about 2.5 years, and then I decided to try to get out. Big mistake. So I didn't, really fit in once I got out. I got out and I did like 2 years, and then I just wanted to get back in. So I did. I got back in, and it was pretty good. So. Then my enlistment came up, and so I just got out again for a little bit. And let's see, I ended up in the Army set me up with a job placement program where they put me up as a postal carrier. Well, because of my training in the military and being a military police officer, and they thought my best placement would be in Oakland, not just Oakland, but it was like East Oakland, like a combat zone within itself. So after I got robbed twice there by gunpoint, I decided that wasn't for me anymore. So I left Oakland, came back to Napa, attended the police academy right here, and then about 6 months later, they graduated, and then I got shipped off to Desert Storm because I was attached to a National Guard unit while I was out. So the National Guard unit sent me to Desert Storm, and I was attached with the 185th Military Police Battalion, and the entire brigade got sent to Saudi Arabia. Being there, it was great. I was a squad leader, and one of the things you look forward to as being a leader is you go into these, you get all this training and never get a chance to use it. And going to Desert Storm was like, this is it. This is great. This is my opportunity to shine. I'm going to be able to lead my guys into a combat zone and be responsible for equipment and personnel, health and welfare, and everything else. So it was great. We actually got to practice a lot of the book taught stuff, and then you go out there, it's a different world. It's not what they say it is. So you just end up in different situations. You never know what people are going to do. One particular mission that we were sent on was to go find a lieutenant got lost out in the desert. So he ended up on the wrong side of the line. So this guy was, and at that point we had not yet started the ground war. So he had already crossed the line, and he was in a lot of trouble. So they sent us out there to find him because communications was down. So we went out there and found him. He was in a firefight with something out there that he didn't know what he was shooting at. It was like, 1,500 meters out. You couldn't see what but somebody was shooting back. Could have been our guys, could have been somebody else, but we stopped the firefight and corralled them back into their vehicles and got them back across the line. But that was about the only combat I really saw. Because once I got back to our area of operation, they packed up my company, sent us to Germany. So, in the 26 years in the military, I think the worst thing that could happen, or the best thing that could happen, is that you get deployed to a combat spot. You're always looking forward to it, and you're thinking about it. This is great. Going there as a first sergeant, being in charge of 140 guys going into Iraq, and the responsibility of welfare, and all the equipment, and their combat survivability, and everything. So that is the best thing that could ever happen. So I was looking forward to that. And when it happened, I was ready. My people weren't as ready, but they got ready, and it was one of the best things that in my career, going as a first sergeant. I want to say and that is also the worst thing, because I was recently divorced. Matter of fact, when I notified my wife then that I was going, I was right after 9/11. I'm like, I know I'm going. So she filed, and that was it. She knew, because I wasn't home a lot. That was because I was gone. I was in training. I was taking care of my troops. I was doing my job. So, but you want to be a first sergeant, you've got to sacrifice time, and there's nowhere else to pull that from. So you spend it training your troops, getting ready to do their jobs, going to combat. So, the worst time is actually having to say goodbye to my daughter, which I had. And she was 4 then, 3.5, 4 then. So that was about the worst day I had. But if you take that into perspective of all the things that I saw in that live combat zone when I was in Iraq, it's still the worst, because there's no other feeling like that, saying goodbye to your kid. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. So you do your best, and you do your job, come back, take care of it. But during Iraq, I became the closest to my platoon leaders and platoon sergeants. They were the senior NCO corps of my company, and those guys we were a tight-knit group. We were family and friends, and we were our connection with our families. When something was going on at home, you could always tell. You look across the room and there's somebody not paying attention. Somebody's mind is wandering. There's something going on. It's like having a brother or sister. So, but a little more closer, because you do experience a lot of harshes and travesties, and a lot of coincidences. It's the word. So these guys we still stay in contact. A lot of guys got out because it was too much for a lot of them. So it was too much for a lot of families. When we were there, I think 9 guys got served with divorce papers. So that was tough. So Because as a first sergeant, that was my job. They give you the papers, you get them in the mail, the lawyer comes and visits you, and you take it out there. And the guy sitting there on patrol or out there sitting in a 140 degrees, and you have to give him divorce papers and like sign here. And what do? You tell them to drive on, and they're asking you for advice. You're like, I have none for you. Drink some water, eat your meals, carry on, keep fighting, do what you got to do. So, typical day in Iraq, the original typical day in Iraq. Everything's different. Every day was different. I don't think I've ever had a one day go the same ever. There was always something going on. There's always something happening. Some fire to put out, something to do, some soldier to take care of. When you're in charge of, so many men and so much equipment and supplies to feed and house and everything else, the work is endless. You just keep going, you just keep doing. You run out of equipment, you run out of supplies, you run out of something. Somebody gets a bad letter from home, somebody had a bad phone call. Somebody tripped and fell, somebody got shot, somebody got injured, the vehicle broke down, the vehicle blew up, something went wrong, I think the worst feeling I had during a combat operation was losing contact with the squad. It was very funny, but it was very scary because we were only thinking the worst. 10 guys is a lot of guys. So we get out there, and I get this phone call, or not a phone call, we get a radio communication back from one of the fire team leaders, and they said, we need some support, you need to come out and assist us, bring the track, and bring the medical team, and like, holy hell, this is not good. We get out there, and these poor guys were jumping a creek. They ended up in waist-deep mud and sewage, and they were stuck in their weapons. I think we lost one, and their radio was under mud, and it was completely destroyed. But they couldn't get out. They could not get out. But just a roar of laughter came across us. So I went to every leadership course, and it was all book taught. And using all this experience that I've had in supply and interpersonal communications that I had with people, solving problems with people, and solving problems with you name it, equipment and in the worst of conditions. To me, that rounds me out to be the person who I am. I don't feel that there isn't anything I can't do. I don't feel like that I'm overconfident, but I feel that I'm well prepared mentally. There's nothing I can't do. So, as far as the last 26 years, it didn't prepare me for anything on the outside, except for me being me. It prepared me for just being in the military, basically. So, being on the outside is, you look back and like, wow, did I do my job? And you say you did, and you did the best you can. What it means to me is that you had people either in combat or in training or in garrison, that people relied on you to do your job. People relied on you to do everything, even from when you were a foot soldier up to being a combat leader or into becoming a senior non-commissioned officer. people rely on you. So the feeling of that of accomplishment was every day. It's just doing your job. Now that I'm out, the feeling of accomplishment is that I can look back and say I did my job. So, I look at soldiers and I watch the news, and I still wish I was back there. It impacts me when I hear about soldiers dying, so I wish I was back there. Wanting to impact, or wanted to stop that from happening, because you want to, you don't want that to happen. So it's hard to hear about it. So you want to be back there. I wish I was back there right now. And if there was a way I could get back in, I'm too old, but I wish if there was a way I could get back in, I'd do it. I'd do it in a heartbeat. Only if I were to go back to Iraq or Afghanistan, but only that. I don't think I get Sandy Garrison's job anymore, a desk job, doing paperwork. Once you experience a combat zone and the camaraderie and the people, and meeting people in the worst conditions, and you crave it. You want to go back. It's better than sex. So what it means to me, just a feeling of accomplishment. 26 years is a long time. I didn't realize I did 26 years. You do the paperwork and you're like, holy crap, I did a lot of time. Now what the hell am I going to do now? So it's, that's why you kind of like staying in. How long can I stick this out? So, I do resent a lot of things, and I do regret a lot of things. I just hope that in the future that our kids and our government understands that these guys are out there. They're volunteers. There's no draft. They're out there because they want to be there. And once they get there, they don't want to leave. The guys that want to leave shouldn't be there. And the guys that are complaining, it's because they never got it. They never made that connection. So I don't want to glamorize combat, or the military, but once you get it, it's you're in for life. It's in your blood. Can't get out. So that's it. That's probably why I did the 26 years. I have a lot of pride for my country. So to be a part of something as big as fighting for not particularly freedom, but to protect us from additional attacks is a lot to take pride in. So that's what I fought for.